California Democrats and Gavin Newsom just wrapped up their 2023 legislative session in Sacramento. And I've got a list of the top 10 worst new laws that they passed. Better buckle up. They're really bad. Coming up, I'll tell you what they are and what we're doing to fight back. I'm Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California. And as you know, there are a lot of bad proposals that are introduced in the state legislature here in California. A lot of bad policies that Governor Gavin Newsom either imposes by his legislative pen or by executive order. So things are really bad, but we have the challenge every year here at Reform California of coming up with a list of the 10 worst new laws enacted each legislative session. Boy, was it hard this year because we had so many bad bills. But I have my list, my annual worst of the worst list to share with you. Before we get into the list, I do want to invite you to change California politics. We don't have to suffer under this bad form of government. We can elect better representatives. We have to restore balance, though, first in Sacramento. That means getting Republicans elected who are not just Republican, but who are fighters. No more milquetoast, go along, get along. We are trying to change, first and foremost, the Republican Party of California so that it actually is a viable opposition voice in our political system to restore at least some sort of balance, at least in terms of the debate. But on top of that, we are looking to flip seats, kick Democrats out, and try to increase the numbers of sane people in Sacramento so that we can restore a little bit of balance. So I encourage you to sign up at our website, reformcalifornia.org, reformcalifornia.org. Also, help us spread the word about these 10 worst bills that I'm going to be covering by liking this video and subscribing to this channel. That is very important because it helps us goose the algorithm to get it spread out to more people. When you like the video and subscribe to this channel, or comment also in the comments below. But we are going to need your help to spread the word so that we can open the eyes of more voters, giving them these 10 bills as examples of how out of control Sacramento politicians are. So let's go ahead and get started. At our website, reformcalifornia.org, we also have this whole story in written form. So you can actually share the video, but you also can share this article at reformcalifornia.org. Top 10 worst laws in California approved by Democrats in 2023. So coming in, and this is not in any rank order, let's zoom in here. Number one, giving free lawyers to illegal immigrants. This is in our state budget. Gavin Newsom and California Democrats are diverting billions of dollars to illegal immigrants each and every year in the budget, which creates a draw for illegal immigration across our southern border. We're literally telling illegal immigrants, pick California's border crossings, because once you get here, it's the land of milk and honey. We give you free health care. We give you cash assistance. We give you transportation assistance. We fund all these far left groups to be case managers for you. We let you into our schools. We sign you up for all sorts of benefits. We have all the homeless shelters for you to stay at. It's just crazy. But $60 million is also available for illegal immigrants to get taxpayer-funded lawyers, to fight deportation, to shake the system down for welfare benefits. This is insane. $60 million of your taxpayer money going to people who shouldn't be here in the first place, who broke the law to get into our country and are now fighting deportation. Remember, we are a sanctuary state as well. So when someone commits a crime, California politicians mandate that law enforcement can't work with federal immigration officials to get a criminal out of our country. The criminals released back onto the streets and can help. We actually give money to these criminals to fight deportation. $60 million in the state budget, a bad law. Second, taking children away from parents. That's AB 665. This allows that children as young as 12 can be taken out of their families home away from their parents and emancipated and put into a residential shelter. That's also known as a homeless shelter. It used to be in state law that this could only be done if two conditions were met. A licensed therapist decided that a child was old enough at age 12 to make their own decisions, and two, that there be a credible threat to the child if they stayed in their parents' home. AB 665 makes two major changes there. It eliminates the need for any sort of licensed therapist to make the determination. It could be an intern or a trainee. And by the way, those terms, intern and trainee, are actually used in AB 665, the legislation itself. It also eliminates the need to show any threat for the child. It's just, hey, I think the kid's old enough to decide on their own. And I'm an intern and a trainee, so I'm mature enough to make that determination. This is reckless. It's child abuse. It's also unconstitutional. But hey, California Democrats don't care. They want this because they believe that parents who are not supportive of LGBT lifestyles should lose their kids. And those kids should be put in the hands of far left-wing groups that operate these shelters. It is obscene. It is a horrific bill, and I've seen a lot of bad bills. Coming in at number 3, government-run healthcare, SB 770. This is where the state of California is starting the process to create socialized medicine completely. It would ban private insurance once this entire process set up under SB 770 is put into place. You'd even lose Medicare. If you're a federal employee, you would lose your FEHB, your Federal Employee Health Benefits Plan. What it does is it says that the state officials under SB 770 would basically negotiate a waiver to take all federal healthcare money and put it into a government-run healthcare system in California. Then we would put in all the state money, and then on top of that, a new tax would be imposed on you, costing the average family $16,000 more in tax burden per year. It's obscene. It's insane. And of course, besides the cost, do you really want the same state government that runs the DMV and botched the unemployment insurance programs for the state? Do you want them running your healthcare decisions? I don't think so. Coming in at number 4, creating a more toxic workplace, SB 497. Whoa, we have so many job killer bills that we had to cover in this legislature. For example, SB 363, which limits the use of arbitration, or AB 594, which weaponizes city attorneys' offices that should be dealing with like homeless issues or open meeting laws. Nope, those city attorneys now get to be used by their labor union masters to harass small businesses. But SB 497 is the worst of the worst. It basically changes the burden of proof in workplace retaliation allegations. Basically now the state of California enforcement arms will assume that you've retaliated as a small business owner against an employee at the front without any evidence provided to the contrary. They will just simply say, we will assume that if you terminate an employee, it is workplace retaliation under SB 497. Now the burden of proof is on you to prove that, no, I wasn't retaliating. And that's going to be pretty darn hard. This is going to only fuel false retaliation claims and make it more toxic for small businesses and other businesses to operate. Here's our next one, stripping school boards of curriculum. My screen's a little screwed up here. Stripping school boards of curriculum powers. That's AB 1078. They say they're trying to stop the ban on books. Not true. What they're really trying to do is silence the voice of parents and get their controversial curriculum in the classroom for sex ed and other bad topics, so political topics that they want to get in there. It basically eviscerates the powers of school boards, which overrides local control. Eliminate discipline in schools. SB 274 says that it's racist to punish unruly students who disrupt the classroom. So now we can't suspend kids for quote unquote willful defiance. Well, expect to lose a lot of teachers over this one because they don't want to be in a classroom where they can't discipline the kids and get them out of their classroom when they disrupt the teaching. By the way, what they're saying, California Democrats are saying with SB 274 is that they want to prosecute parents for showing up at school board meetings to complain about bad education, but they don't want to suspend kids who are constantly disrupting the classroom. Priorities. Item 7, making it easier to release criminals. That's SB 881. SB 81, it would allow for early parole of prison inmates, regardless of their behavior in prison, and that increases their chance of reoffending and impacting the victims. Number 8, infringing on your right to self-defense, SB 2 and AB 28. These two bills are basically trying to make it harder for you to defend yourself by getting a firearm and keeping a firearm on yourself when you go out in public. They're doing a massive excise tax through AB 28 on guns and ammunition. And they're also basically eliminating concealed carry in the state of California, except for in the most stringent, narrow circumstances. That's SB 2. Both of these laws are unconstitutional. They violate your civil rights, but Democrats don't care. They've constantly passed bills that have been overturned by the Supreme Court, and they just go back and pass the same bill over and over again with minor tweaks. That's what these two bills are. And again, I think we need to start having a penalty for politicians who knowingly pass bills that are on the face unconstitutional. Perhaps they should have a financial fine or maybe be disbarred from seeking office again. Coming at number 9 is setting the stage for a carbon tax and an SUV tax. That's SB 253 and AB 251. So SB 253 requires that all businesses, small and large, they're going to have to calculate what their carbon footprint is and then file almost like a carbon return, tax return, with the state of California. They don't pay a tax on it yet, but that's the whole goal here, is that they want to have a carbon tax in California. So how do you do a carbon tax? Well, first you need a carbon reporting system. You have to account for the carbon. So that's what SB 253 is. It's laying the groundwork for a carbon tax. And AB 251 is laying the groundwork for an SUV tax. Do you drive an SUV? They're pretty cool cars. A lot of people like them. They're very convenient. But under AB 251, they're saying that SUVs are dangerous and they have impacts. And so maybe we need to study the impacts and use that study to justify fees being charged on your car tax. Well, in other words, they want a car tax and on top of that, an SUV tax. Again, if it has anything to do with them getting your money, these liars, cheats, and thieves will always come up with some sort of window dressing to justify it. The carbon tax and the SUV tax, which that leads me to my 10th category of bills that are bad, the worst bills for California. The effort to repeal Prop 13 and raise your taxes. That would be ACA 1 and ACA 13. Both these bills make it easier to raise your taxes. Both these bills are a direct assault on Prop 13 from 1978. ACA 1 would lower the threshold for passing special taxes from 2/3 to 55%, making it easier. ACA 13 is designed to block our ballot measure at Reform California that we are working on with a great coalition with the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association, the California Business Roundtable, and others, to restore Prop 13's powers. Over the years, California politicians have gutted and weakened Prop 13. They've actually lied to you on the ballot so you don't know what you're voting on, that you don't know that an initiative contains a tax increase. The California Taxpayer Protection Initiative would restore Prop 13 to what it was in 1978, which requires a honest title on every tax increase and a public vote, a fair public vote. The California Democrat politicians don't want you to have a vote on taxes. They don't want you to have a fair vote on ballot measures. They want to make it easy for them to lie to you and steal your money. That's what they're doing with these phony ballot titles, hiding a tax increase. We need to end that racket. But ACA 13 is designed to eliminate our Taxpayer Protection Initiative and gut Prop 13. Look, the only way to stop these bad bills, you've got to join the fight at reformcalifornia.org. Here's what we're doing at Reform California. Number 1 is we have a voter guide that takes and endorses candidates based upon their position on a whole range of issues, and all these issues, what is your position on these bills and would you vote to repeal them? That will be absolutely part of our voter guide in backing candidates in this election. So I want to make sure I get that voter guide to you and that you give the voter guide to all of your friends and neighbors. That's our distribution network. That's the type of campaign that we're building, is friends telling friends using that voter guide that we publish. So sign up at the website reformcalifornia.org to get the voter guide by signing up as a volunteer. Also, chip in a contribution. We are entirely funded by the grassroots. The average contribution is $67 per year. And that means people give maybe $10 a month or $5 a month. Give whatever you can. We need the support because we're up against the machine that wants to put these bills and others like it into law. This is insane. I mean, you would think that with everyone fleeing California, that California Democrats would get the message that you're doing real damage here. But no, they're doubling and tripling down on their failed policies, inflicting even more damage. These 10 bills are just the beginning. They have other bad ideas that they are working on for next year. That's why we have to make next year count. We have to win seats. We have to restore Prop 13. We have to galvanize a movement of change. And the only way to do that is if you get off the couch and into the fight. Do that at reformcalifornia.org. Also, start right now by liking this video, sharing it with your friends, subscribing to this channel so that you can continue to get news updates. Together, we can take back our state from insanity. I'm Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California. Thanks for watching. Help us break through the censorship of the liberal media by liking this video, sharing it with your friends, and subscribe to my YouTube channel.